Bloomberg Audio Studios.
Podcasts, radio, news.
We're focusing on shares of Levi Strauss, lower today in a big way after the denim maker narrowed its full-year revenue outlook. The company also revealing that it's exploring a sale of its Dockers brand. Joining us now, I am thrilled to say we have Michelle Goss. She is Levi Strauss president and CEO, and I think a lot of people were surprised by these results because fashion is fickle, but denim is back in a big way right now, of course, over leggings. You have this collaboration with Beyonce. The song came out as well, and yet, of course, you narrowed that revenue forecast. So how can you reassure investors that, of course, Levi Strauss is on that positive growth trajectory?
Yes, well, it's great to be here, and thanks for the question. You know, what I would say is, first off, we're really confident in our long-term strategies for the business, and ultimately we see the business growing to about $10 billion in sales over time, and our strategies are working. I'm sure we'll talk about that. But let me set a little context for the quarter. Despite coming in at the low end of our guide, underneath that, there's a lot of strength in the business. I mean, clearly we beat our profit targets, our earnings were strong, and as it relates to revenue, overall, we were up 3% on an adjusted basis. The Levi's brand was up 5%, yet we did have a couple areas that underperformed, namely our China business, Mexico, and also on Dockers. In terms of China, I would say that we have our own executional opportunities there. It's a big market. We see the long-term potential. We've changed out some leadership, and clearly issues have been exacerbated by the macro headwinds. In Mexico, we can isolate that issue to our wholesale business there, where one of our top customers had a cybersecurity breach, which impacted our ability to ship. We expect sequential improvement there as well. And then lastly, with Dockers, that's a brand that for us, it's underperformed for some time. We do believe that both Levi's and Dockers will ultimately benefit by being independent businesses. And for us, this is about focus and us focus and amplifying on the Levi's brand and also on Beyond Yoga, which we just acquired a couple years ago.
Well, I'm glad that you brought up Dockers because that's exactly where I want to go. Of course, you said that you're reviewing options for Dockers that could include a sale. You have the likes of Bloomberg Intelligence coming out and saying that if you did sell Dockers, it could free up resources to accelerate your direct-to-consumer expansion. But what options do you have if a sale doesn't happen? What else are you looking at for Dockers?
Yeah, as we shared yesterday, we are exploring strategic options, and our intention is to sell the brand to the right potential buyer. I'm actually quite confident in that, but we're all doing our homework around that. But to your question, this is all about distorting our resources against largely the Levi's brand. We see so much opportunity for that brand and for that business, and also accelerating Beyond Yoga, as I just mentioned. But as it relates to the Levi's brand, today Levi's, we've been in business for 170 years, and we're really known and famous for the blue jean, of course, the 501. But we see an opportunity that's much greater and really evolving the brand to stand for head-to-toe denim lifestyle. And, that's a big part of how we're seeing the momentum in our business. We talk about the Levi's brand being up 5%. Well, that was driven by the strength of our direct-to-consumer business, both in our stores and e-commerce. DTC was up 12%, e-commerce up almost 20%. And we're seeing that across the world. And, I'd say two things underneath that. Real strength and opportunity in women's. Women's is about a third of our business today. That should be half, and we're well on the path. And then head to toe, whether that's denim dressing, denim lifestyle, and even tops to complement our bottoms. So there's just so much opportunity. So as we really focus on Levi's, like I said, we see accelerating into the future.
Michelle, I'm sure a lot of investors would love to see that continued investment, but one more on the Dockers sale here, because the faster you would be able to sell it, the faster you would have that money to reinvest. How soon do you think you can exit the Dockers brand?
Yeah, I'd say we just announced it yesterday. We have a great team working on it, so we're not putting a timeline, but we'll keep you posted.
I wonder about the styles. If you look across the more expensive Japanese denim, you can see $300, $400 prices for Samurai and Ironheart. You're almost there with like 1933 501s. Do you feel like you have any? Those are like $295, right?
Right.
Do you feel like you have any pricing power pushing higher?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the amazing things about this brand is just how broad we connect with consumers across all demographics around the world. And we want to be there for our consumers. So whether that's more of kind of your entry-level price point all the way up to very aspirational types of denim. And we do selvage, Japanese denim, and we're doing that around the world, including here in the U.S. And I think as you were just pointing to, vintage Levi's, I mean, the real testament to the strength of this brand is if you're buying vintage Levi's, the kinds of prices that people will pay for that is pretty darn amazing. So, like I said, that's all part of, the long-term potential and opportunity for this business.
Well, it's very cool. Okay,
yeah.
You can get the actual jeans, at least the cut that they made in 1890. If you're more of a 30s person, they have 33, I think, or 37.
There you go.
Can get 40s,
Yes.
50s, 60s. So I think it's a fantastic program, and obviously one of the most iconic names in denim.
I'm so glad you brought that up because, given our authority and authenticity, I mean, we actually do have a vault where we have literally the original pair of Levi's jeans and lots of other iterations. Our teams are constantly kind of scouring the world looking for inspiration. And so our designers do take inspiration from some of our vintage jeans and we replicate those and they're super popular with our consumers.
Yeah, absolutely. You really span the time spectrum there, and brand loyalty is there for Levi's. I do want to talk about Beyond Yoga, though, and I don't know if you have denim yoga clothes. Maybe that's in the pipeline there. But let's talk a little bit about the write-down of Beyond Yoga. I know that you recently acquired this one, and I'm not really asking about the magnitude, but the fact that you wrote it down at all. I mean, what does that say, basically, about whether or not it's meeting its targets, what the future is there?
Yeah, no, great question. So we are very committed to Beyond Yoga, and we are in the very early chapters of the potential of that brand. We did take a write-down this quarter, really reflecting the path we're on to make sure that we have a thoughtful, prudent path on both growth and profitability in our investments. But really, this is about, again, the long-term opportunity for Beyond Yoga. It had a great quarter. We were up almost 20%, and we've seen that double-digit growth for some time. I think importantly, we are investing in this business and brand. We brought in new leadership, Nancy Green, who is an apparel and retail veteran. She's brought in new capabilities and team members. And over time, this brand should be at least $500 million. When we think about Levi's really owning denim and denim lifestyle, having Beyond Yoga really extend the closet into active and athleisure, we feel like this is just a phenomenal platform for Ellis & Co. to operate in.
Michelle, I want to go to something very fun, right? You had teamed up with Beyonce here in an exclusive ad campaign. Beyonce is queen after all. She couldn't have come cheap. I'm wondering, at the end of the day, what does this give you? Has she helped you reach new communities? What's the payoff?
Yeah. Well, first, let me say, we are so honored to have this partnership with Beyonce. This comes after literally decades of having a relationship with her, dating back even to the 90s. And we've been a fan of Beyonce for a long time, and I believe she's been a fan of Levi's as well. And clearly earlier this year, we were so honored that she named a song after us on her new album, Levi's Jeans, and that sort of then led into a conversation of what was possible. And here we are, just Monday, launching this, what I would call breakthrough campaign. I mean, while we have worked with celebrities in the past and influencers and designers and the like, I mean, this partnership takes us to a whole new level. I mean, she is a global icon, right, across art and music and fashion, and it just made so much sense for us. I mean, Levi's, the brand, is at its best when we're at the center of culture, and there's nobody better than Beyonce to be our partner in that. And accelerating women's. I mean, over the next couple years, our plan is to really take that to the next level. So we expect, through Beyonce, all that she means, and candidly, the reach she has. I mean, she's got hundreds of millions of followers. Like I said, that this is going to be a great partnership for the business.
Can I ask you, just for the overall picture on labor, what your employee headcount looks like and which direction it's going? I mean, are you looking to add employees for more production? Do you need to shut down in order to right size? What are your plans in terms of your workers?
Yeah, so around the world, Ellis & Co., we have about 20,000 employees. Great. I mean, we have a phenomenal culture. I am inspired every day, whether I'm working with the team here or out in the field working with our teams in our stores, in our distribution centers. And as I said earlier, our intent is to grow this business. We're $6 billion today, a little more than that, taking that to $10 billion. And over time, we will be hiring more great Levi's employees to bring phenomenal experiences to our fans all over the world. I mean, a big part of our growth strategy is around direct-to-consumer and building more stores across many markets. So for us, it's about growth and it's about profitable growth. And like I said, we look forward to welcoming many new employees into Levi's over time.
Michelle, thanks so much. Michelle Goss there of Levi Strauss talking to us about their quarter and their outlook as well.